So, what is beingness and why is it so important? Beingness is when you begin to go within. In the beginning, when you start practicing beingness, some people begin to meditate. Other people just go out for a walk and they can be with nature. That's kind of how it started for me. It was very difficult to meditate. And now it's not a problem. But what I used to do in order to come back into my beingness, and I didn't even know I was doing this, is I would go out for walks. And what began to happen is during those walks, because you're looking around, you're still using your senses. See, when you come into the beingness, you're breaking the matrix. And what I mean by your matrix is your own patterns. In this beingness, you start shutting off your senses and you begin to connect back to your unity through nature. Normally it starts with people through nature. You can go to the beach if you love water. How do you feel when the sun's on you, your feet are in the sand and you're looking out into the water? Don't you feel, I can feel it right now, this like oneness, this beingness with nature. And then what happens is when you're in that beingness and you shut off all senses, this like flood of love comes through you. And maybe you haven't felt that sense of love for yourself before. But when you're in your beingness, you enjoy it. You don't judge the love at all. You just like enjoy the wash of peace and joy that comes over you. So that is why it's so important to just be. When you are in your absolute beingness, going inside, shutting off your senses, that's when you begin to really communicate with your spirit complex. And what will happen, or what happened for me, because I love the beach, I love going out for walks in nature, trees, flowers, roses. Roses were a huge part of my beingness. I'll never forget, I went for a walk one day and I was looking at the roses. They were just so beautiful. And I actually stopped and smelled the roses. And I was like, oh my God, I literally just stopped and smelled the roses. And when I did that, my senses, it's funny because my senses weren't on because I was being with that rose. I was just so enthralled in the beauty of it. Like the petals, it felt so velvety. And when I smelled it, it was like no other scent that I've been able to smell through the sense before. My senses began enjoying nature. My senses were turned off and were in this oneness with this rose. My ears, I started hearing the bees that were around just working, busy bees. I really realized why they call bees busy bees. They were just buzz. And normally I run. I'm so afraid of bees, but it didn't bother me for 1 second. So all of my senses, because my inside, I was just being with this rose, all of my senses turned off and were just being with this rose as well. And that was a recognition of unity for me. So, and that is what breaks your patterns within your matrix. The matrix is just patterns. Like if you can visualize a spider web, okay? Spider webs are beautiful. Beautiful. They're a gorgeous symmetrical pattern that this little insect, this smart little being called a spider, has made for itself, its home. Your matrix, imagine when a fly gets stuck in that spider's web, what happens? Ooh, it goes all messy, all messy. Then the spider comes, wraps that insect up, it's food now, and it takes it away. So what you're doing is if my matrix was very ugly, the patterns were distorted completely. There was no symmetry to anything. It was not beautiful. It was distorted, and there is no way out, like a maze that you keep going around in. So what beingness did was, it was like, you know how when the spider comes up, it wraps up its insect and then takes it away? That's what my beingness did to me. Over time, the more I went inside, the more I started realizing there's an insect right there that hasn't been wrapped up yet in my matrix. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm just gonna look at it and I'm gonna dissolve it. Dissolve it, how? With love. Accept it. Don't judge it, because then you go put it back into the matrix. Okay? Love you guys.